Hey, Mike with No Problems Gaming here. In today's video, we'll be doing a review on the Resident Evil Village Winters expansion, so let's get into it. So if you didn't know, a new expansion recently released for Resident Evil Village, the Winters expansion, and in this expansion you get access to several different things. One of them is a third-person mode, another is an enhanced Mercenaries Additional Orders mode, and you also get access to a new Shadows of Rose campaign for the story mode. Now jumping into each of the additions, the first one is the third person mode, and for me I really enjoyed this. One of my favorite updates to the Resident Evil series was going from the tank controls, bird's eye view, to the third person mode in Resident Evil 4, and really enjoyed that playstyle. I know when Resident Evil 7 came out for the first time and saw that it was first person, as well as Resident Evil Village was first person, I was a little thrown off as I had come to really enjoy that third person view. So to see that finally come back in Resident Evil Village, I was really excited about it. It also gave me a good reason to revisit the game. I hadn't really played since it first came out, and it was nice to be able to go through the game, experience it in a different way, but also get to go through and use all the different upgrades and unlockables I had achieved after my first playthrough. Plus it had been a long enough time where I didn't fully remember the storyline, so that was another cool thing that I got to experience the game for the first time almost again. Another thing that I really liked about it is I felt like I felt more for Ethan Winters, the character. I know you play as him in Resident Evil 7 as well as Resident Evil 8 here, but since both of those were in first person mode, I never really knew what Ethan looked like. I never really had a feel for the character as much being in first person the whole time, which you might be able to argue it made you feel like you were the main character and increased the intensity a little bit that way. But I do really enjoy that third person view. I also felt like playing through this way was a little bit harder. There's some enemies where you need to attack them in certain spots, and I kind of felt like that was a lot easier in first person mode compared to third person mode, so I think that upped the intensity a little bit as you played through. I also think that helped me prep for the new Shadows of Rose expansion that takes place after the events of the main storyline. And so I think it's a great addition. You can switch back and forth whenever you want. You just need to return back to the main menu, and you can go from first person to third person. So if you want to try out the game in third person, this is a cool part of the expansion that allows you to do that. Now when it comes to the Mercenaries Additional Orders part of the expansion, this is really just an upgrade and enhancement to the base Mercenaries game within Resident Evil Village. And so in that element, you play as Ethan Winters and Chris Redfield, but in this new expansion, you're able to unlock Lady Demetrice as well as Heisenberg, which adds some new intensity to the gameplay and enhances the replay value even more. There's also some additional stages you can unlock as well, but these don't unlock automatically. You still need to play through and beat the Mercenaries game and get good rankings as you play to unlock these additional features. And so if you're not familiar with the Mercenaries game in general, how it works is it's kind of more of an arcade zombie shooter, and you'll have different challenges as you play through familiar areas from the base game. So you'll need to kill so many enemies, and you have a limited time frame to do so, but each time you kill a new enemy, it'll add more time back to your clock, and you'll also be able to find power-ups throughout the levels as well. And so these can be things like enhancing your speed, dealing more damage with certain weapons, regaining health when you kill enemies, and much more. On top of that, you'll earn the currency in the game every time you kill enemies, and so in between the missions, you'll be able to level up your items, purchase new weapons and ammo, and much more. I didn't initially play the Mercenaries part a whole lot when I first played Resident Evil Village, and so again, getting to revisit it this time, plus with the additional unlockables and enhancements, it was definitely a lot of fun and really addicting. The final part of this expansion is the Shadows of Rose story mode, and so this takes place after the events of the main game, and you'll need to play as Rose as an adult using her new unique powers to unlock puzzles throughout the castle and take on new terrifying monsters that really resemble the zombies from Resident Evil, but with a new twist. I think using her powers are pretty unique and have a different playstyle, and it really brought out the survival horror of the game and was a little bit less action focused than the main storyline of the game. You have very limited ammo and the enemies are pretty tough, and you'll need to use your powers to run and hide versus trying to take out every single enemy you see, which really increases the intensity of the game. I think the storyline's really good. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory or explain it much, so definitely check it out for yourself, but it's really cool to play from Rose's viewpoint and revisit the castle for this new unique story. This part of the game isn't too long. It'll probably take you around an hour and a half to 3 hours on your first playthrough. I think it took me about 2 hours and 40 minutes when I played through it, but I definitely died a lot because it's pretty challenging. But for me, I got to replay the base game the entire way through in third person mode, plus these extra expansions made it definitely worth it, and I really enjoyed it. So if you like Resident Evil, you want to try out Resident Evil Village in a third person mode, experience this new branch in the story, and check out these new upgrades and additions to the mercenary mode, I definitely recommend it. But let me know in the comments below, have you played this expansion yet? Are you going to pick it up now that you know that it's out? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, be sure to check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.